Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostle, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'athid Abadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Slaki, give me a second here. Alright, so what we have here on the screen is it says, 2 black men tortured by 6 white police officers set to speak today before a sentencing hearing. And we've been telling you, Jake, we've been telling you for the longest time that this man, this pale-skinned devil, he is not your friend. Okay, we cannot coexist with this devil, okay? I'm going to read a little bit here what it says here. And we tell you, Jake, time and time again, you know, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is the devil. Okay, and it says here, CNN, Eddie Parker and Michael Jenkins said they were often not believed when they tried for months to tell people about the grueling violence and torture they endured at the hands of 6 white law enforcement officers one night last year, culminating in Jenkins being shot in the mouth. Details from the January 24th, 2023 incident eventually came to light after the 2 men, both whom are black, filed a federal civil rights lawsuit in June. Many of the claims were later borne out by federal prosecutors in August, as the 6 former Mississippi officers pleaded guilty to the combined 13 felonies in connection with the torture and abuse of the 2 men. Parker and Jenkins, along with their families and attorneys, will speak at a news conference in Jackson on Monday afternoon ahead of the federal sentencing proceedings of the former officers, which both victims say was motivated by their race. Some of the officers called themselves the Goon Squad because of their willingness to use excessive force and not report it. Federal prosecutors said. The 5 former Rankin County Sheriff's deputies, Hunter Edward, Brett McAlpin, Christian Dedman, Daniel Opdyke, Jeffrey Middleton, as well as former Richland Police Department officer Joshua Hartfield, pled guilty in August to charges of conspiracy against rights, deprivation of rights under color of law, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and obstruction of justice related to the incident. And it says here, related article, tasers, taunts, torment, how 6 white police officers subjected 2 black men to hours of grueling violence and then tried to cover it up. So, the 2 victims who are expected to testify in federal court this week will be accompanied by their lead attorney, Malik Shabazz, who said Monday's news conference will focus on the victims. The lawyers are expected to break down each defendant's possibilities and expectations for the sentencing proceedings. During Monday's news conference, Shabazz said he will also discuss their expectations of justice at the sentencing proceedings and provide an update on the lawsuit against the county and Sheriff Brian Bailey. Shabazz told CNN his team met with the Justice Department on Friday ahead of the sentencing proceedings in Jackson before Southern District of Mississippi U.S. District Court Judge Tom Lee. Christian Clark, U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, has just reached out to Michael Jenkins, Eddie Parker, and their families. Shabazz told CNN on Friday A.A.G. Clark expressed her commitment to civil rights and to eliminating racial intimidation under the color of law in Mississippi. We are deeply appreciative of her department's historic legal efforts. Federal prosecutors seek maximum sentences for ex-officers. Elward and Middleton will be sentenced on Tuesday, Dedman and Opdyke on Wednesday, and Hartfield and McAlpin on Thursday. Federal prosecutors are seeking the maximum sentences for the officers. Details about what the defense attorneys for the 6 men are seeking in their sentencing proceedings were not immediately available. Elward faces the most serious of federal charges stemming from the January incident discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. He faces up to 30 years in prison. The federal charging document shows McAlpin, Middleton, Dedman, and Opdyke, and Hartfield face up to 20 years in prison. The incident occurred January 24th of 2023 in Braxton, Mississippi, just southeast of Jackson. Okay. In their lawsuit, Jenkins and Parker alleged the officers illegally entered their home and handcuffed, kicked, and waterboarded and tased them and attempted to sexually assault them over nearly 2 hours before one of the deputies put a gun in Jenkins' mouth and shot him. The deputies, in their repeated use of racial slurs in the course of their violent acts, were oppressive and hateful against their African American victims. The lawsuit says defendants were motivated on the basis of race and the color of the skin of the persons they assaulted. 3 of the officers, Dedman, Elward, and Opdyke, also pleaded guilty in federal court to additional felonies related to a separate incident in December of 2022, according to the Justice Department. If convicted on those things, all 3 men could face up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine for deprivation of rights. Dedman faces a maximum sentencing of life in prison on the weapons charge. The 6 former officers also pleaded guilty to state charges against them stemming from the same January 2023 incident. Each of the officers were charged with conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice, according to the Mississippi Attorney General's office. Okay, it says Dedman is charged with home invasion and Elward is charged with home invasion and aggravated assault. McAlpin, Middleton, Opdyke, and Hartfield each face an additional charge of first-degree obstruction of justice. They await sentencing on the state charges. All right. So, and the prophets, the men of the Lord, and these are the 2 men right here. And we've been telling you, you stupid ass Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled bird, whose father's seed line goes back. We've been telling you for the longest time that Esau, Edom, hates you, Jacob. What is it going to take for you to realize that? Okay? Michael Jenkins on the left and Eddie Parker on the right. We've been telling you, Jake, that Esau, Edom hates you. All right? In fact, let me get Genesis. This is going to be Genesis chapter 27. Genesis 27 and 41. And it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doeth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Okay? We were warned from the very beginning not to trust this devil. And this right here, this is a sign that Esau, Edom, is more and more, day by day, beginning to show his horns. He's beginning to show you just what type of person he really is. Okay? You get This is going to be Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. Oh, skipped it. Amos chapter 1 verse 11. And it says here, thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. Okay? So this goes all the way back to the days of old, man. Esau, Edom, has always hated you, Jacob. Okay? He has always hated you. And let's see if I could find... let's see. This is going to be... Let's see. Give me a second here. Oh. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 verse 10, and it says, never trust thine enemy, for as like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Okay? You cannot trust Esau, Edom. You just can't. You cannot trust this. You cannot trust this man. Okay, now let's see. Let's see. Now for these police officers, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus. It's going to be chapter 10 and verse 8. In fact, actually, I'm going to start at verse 7. Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 verse 7, it says, pride is hateful before the Most High, and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Okay? So Esau, Edom, is a prideful man. And he hates you, Jacob. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Because look, you know, these officers thought that they could get away with doing this. And now because of those unrighteous dealings, the torment, the torture, and, you know, a racially motivated attack on these 2 men, you know, see, this is, you know, they're, you know, riches got by deceit, and that's Esau, Edom. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. So yeah. So Esau, Edom, he's starting to feel the weight. Because, you know, he's starting to feel the weight that he cannot accept the fact that his kingdom and his so-called white privilege is being stripped from him. He can't take it. Okay? He thought he could get away with doing this because, you know, being the feeble-minded and hateful person that he is, that he attacked a couple of men, so-called black men, Israelite men. And, you know, it's starting, you know, in his his own system that he set up. It's funny because not only are the people turning against Esau, but his own system, his own laws and rules are now being used against him. Okay? It's no longer turning out to be that rules for thee but not for me. Okay? Esau is going to have to start taking accountability for his actions through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? Alright, let me get Obadiah. Yeah, Esau, Edom, I bet it don't feel too good that you don't have that privilege like you used to, where you could just do all this illegal and crooked shit and not have to pay the consequences for it. But now, how about Shimei Shai is turning that against you now. It's time for you to start taking accountability for your actions. But we all know that you won't. And you'll continue to be the devil that you were meant to be. I got a couple more scripts here, and then I'm going to close out and see if I could get to Obadiah. If I could. Okay, there we go. Obadiah. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to start at, this is Obadiah. I'm going to start at verse 10. And it says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Verse 11, "In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces and foreigners, entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was not one of them, was as one of them." Verse 12, "But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress." 13, "Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity." Verse 14, "Neither shouldest thou have stood on the crossway to cut off those of his..." So let me start that over. Verse 14, "Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress." Verse 15, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head." 16, "For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been." So Esau, Edom, it's time for you to take accountability for all your crimes. Not just against humanity as a whole, but against specifically the children of Israel. Okay? To this very day, you continue to be a spiteful, prejudiced asshole. You know? You just don't know when to stop. You just don't know when enough's enough. And you think it's funny, you think it's a game. Now, this is going to be Ezekiel. It's going to be chapter 35, verse... Actually, you know what? I can start at verse 1. Ezekiel 35:1. "Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord." Verse 5, "Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time of their iniquity had an end." Verse 6, "Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will repair thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." Yeah. So, what comes around goes around, Esau, Edom. So, you're still in rulership, but you enjoy it while you still have, because you have quite the hell to pay for to come. Okay, now I'm gonna get the one script. Let's see. There's gonna be Revelation. Chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? So reward blood for blood, right? Okay, so at the end of it all, Esau, Edom, the joke's gonna be on you. But as for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, you can't not trust this devil. You gotta just Anyway, that's all that I had for this, but yeah, this is, we're still in captivity and enduring this hell underneath this devil. In fact, let me get I think it was Deuteronomy. I had one in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, this is Deuteronomy. This is one of the curses. I'm gonna get this here. This is gonna be Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28, I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. 16, Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Okay? Let's see. Actually, verse 19 says it. Okay, verse 19, Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. So, going into your house, or being in your house, and going out of your house and into the world, man. No matter where you go, Jake, you are cursed. What's it going to take for you to realize that? Okay? And, cursed in the city and cursed in the field, we're still under the curses. We're still in captivity. We're still dealing with this punishment here. That's why the scriptures say, be ye circumspect. Not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. And Jacob's trouble is going to be the worst time ever for Israel, especially 2/3. Okay, and this is going to be verse 20, Deuteronomy 28 and 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto, for to do it until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Okay, so we're under this curses for punishment and correction. Okay, any little thing that we do wrong, we could be punished for it severely. Okay, that's why the scriptures say, be not ignorant of anything small or great. All right, and that's just about all that I had. So once again, you gotta wake up, Jake, and realize that we're in the time where Esau, Edom is really gonna start. Like I said, he's showing his horns more and more every day. Okay? You gotta turn away from this man and stop following him, because he does not give a damn about you. All right? I like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakat Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayat Adabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwame Yasharala, Shalom, Barakatah.